Kung Fu Cowboy, tennis shoes on my feet.
Kung Fu Cowboy here. Hey, I'm in the future. It's actually June 9th now, and this song is going to get released June 16th. So by the time I release this thing, these videos, I'm going to kind of release them, I think, in the order I'm doing them. But this is a podcast that actually could come out before the release of this song on June 16th. And what is the name of this song? This song is another one that was written and recorded and is part of the American Zen End of the Line album. And the End of the Line album is version does not have organ and horns. This one has some organ, but it's got a Hammond organ on it. Well, I'm playing it on my Yamaha P125, I think, model piano. And I got the 88 key one. I had to have the whole thing. You didn't want a little teeny keyboard. I love piano. In fact, my goal when I got it was to actually be a pianist, because a piano is a percussion instrument. Most people don't realize that unless you're a piano player. You're hitting a key that's hitting a hammer that's hitting a string. It's actually a percussion instrument, kind of like beating on a marimba or something like that. So that's what a piano is. It's a percussion instrument. So in order to play it properly, you're basically hammering. Like playing a marimba. So anyway, except you can play lots. Anyway, it's a wonderful instrument, the piano. But it's a percussion instrument. And so if you play with, anyway. I recorded a cool organ. I was very proud of this organ on this song. So anyway, this song is a weird song. Well, not a weird song. It's a song that was written back in 2014, like the whole End of the Line album, or 2013. And I'm not going to tell you I'll kind of generalize without naming names. But, well, it's got a story. Maybe I'll tell the story another time. But I wrote this song out of resentment because some women weren't respecting their husbands. It's really... Two women were talking about their husbands. They were being totally derogatory. I even tried to intercede, and say, you guys are being really negative, disrespectful, and ungrateful. and so anyway, I wrote this song about what I thought. I don't think the lyrics are here, unfortunately. No. And so I wrote this song as what I thought true love should be, or a marriage relationship should be. So I thought, okay, these girls got it wrong. Let me write a song about what's right. So that's what this song is about. Is try to say what marriage and love really should be, could be, as I envision it. So I wrote this song, and it's actually, the song is two people singing. So I actually sing it in a girl voice and a guy voice. And I've always pictured them up on the altar. You got the priest, you got the two people there, and the best man. But I always see just mainly the two couple, and they're singing this song to each other, and it's just a really simple, I didn't want to make it a real hard rock and a lot of instruments. It's real simple. It could be played in any church. In fact, the only person I know that actually bought this song used it for her wedding. And that's a whole story in itself. But we'll leave it for that right now. So this song is actually going to be released on June 16th, and it's June 9th, so in 5 days. This song will come out from when I'm recording this podcast. But this is Honor. Oh, here's the name of the song. And this is the Marriage Vows. Oh, and I've studied with some preachers back at that time, 2013 and 14. There was a Methodist preacher, and he was actually Korean, I think. But he was a wonderful guy, really nice, totally a Christian type of person. And so I enjoyed that. Didn't matter. I don't consider myself a Christian. I was raised a Christian, but because I can't say that Jesus rose from the dead and made other people come back to life. I'm not willing to say those things. I can't be considered a Christian. I'll say that Christ was a great guy and had great things to say, but to say he was a supernatural God who could bring people back to life and who could reenact, who could fly around in the sky and stuff like that, I'm not willing to go that far. So I can't be a Christian according to my Christian friends. So that's so I accept that. And but anyway, I'm picturing a Christian wedding, and here's the vows. And in fact, when I was talking to this Methodist preacher, he explained how the women were taking over, because in the Methodist church now they could have women preachers. So now the women were becoming the preachers. Now, as soon as the women became the preachers, they started changing a lot of the vows. in the marriages. And they said, and as he said it, the women preachers never do a marriage where they say these vows. These are the vows that they've totally taken out. In fact, they tell people just write your own thing. Oh, I love you forever, and I look forward to living our life together and having a wonderful family, and and that's their vows. And then this person says something, and that's it. So now in many churches, like the Methodist Church, you write your own vow. And they don't read off this old stuff or Hebrew stuff or whatever it is about, your vows or anything. They just say, okay, just say you love each other and put a ring on each other's fingers, give each other a kiss and sign right here and you're married. That's it. So that's what the marriages are. And but here's what they took out. They took out the word obey. A woman should not obey her husband. Methodist marriages do not, tell me if I'm wrong, but unless a person wants to put it in there, the Methodist preachers will not say this anymore. And I went to their churches. I enjoyed it because I went there for free food. I got a couple tuxedos from them and stuff. So this is one of the churches I went to for freebies and handouts and food. And I also went there to hang out with this guy on the other separate days. So I used to go to this church a lot. So I kind of got to know him over a few years. But anyway. So the word obey is no longer in the Methodist marriage vows. A woman should not obey her husband. If the husband says, I don't want you sleeping with somebody else, she doesn't have to obey him. She can go sleep with someone else. I want you to, come home and raise, and make dinner every night. She doesn't have to obey him. She can hire an Uber and go deliver it. So there's no such thing as obedience in the modern marriage and method. I'll just speak about the Methodist right now, without complicating it. So there's no obedience, which means, of course, that the man doesn't have to obey the woman. So he can go out and cheat on her. He doesn't have to obey her. Whoops. I was turning my heat up so it wouldn't go on. The heat must have gone out. Anyway, got a little background noise. But I'll put some music underneath. We'll cover it up. Otherwise, it's got new noise reduction. That is obnoxious. Let me go kill it. Oh, that was my auto. My Google thermostat was like saying, okay, it's nighttime. Actually, it's midnight right now. That's midnight. It just knocked it down to my nighttime temperature of 75. So that's why it came on. I thought, did it get really hot? Because I set it at 80. So it wouldn't come on. Anyway, so here's the name of the song. The girl says, honor and obey. And the man says, cherish and protect. And there's no punctuation in this. And instead of the word and, I use the ampersand. And between the two vows, I didn't put any punctuation. I didn't know if that was acceptable in the music title world or Billboard charts or whatever. So I just ran them together with ampersands. So the title is Honor and Obey, Cherish and Protect. And that's the title. No punctuation. So what does that mean? Well, the honor part. Why would you want to marry a woman who's going to bring you dishonor, who's going to make you a cuckold or lie about you or cheat on you or accuse you of things you didn't do or steal things from you or wait till you're vulnerable and then divorce you and take as much as she can of stuff that you had before she even knew you? So that's not bringing honor. And then the obey thing, if your wife's not going to, if you hire somebody to work in your restaurant and they're not going to obey you, then fire them. You can't, that's not even a marriage. That's just a sharing of time. You give me some time and effort and I give you some money. But if you can't work, if that's too much to ask of somebody for them to obey you so you can give them some money, then why would you want to marry them? If they couldn't even be a good waiter or a waitress or obey you, then why would you want to marry that person? And then the man is cherish and protect. So cherish means he's got to hold her in the highest esteem. So he should never relegate her to somebody she kicks around or is only there for eggs. Cherish, I think, means a lot more than that. To cherish a person means to really appreciate their qualities. You cherish what they have. So you're giving them the respect for their abilities and who they are. So I think cherish is a great word. A husband should cherish his wife. He shouldn't cherish his prostitutes or he's seeing or this and that. He shouldn't even be seeing them. That's not cherishing his wife. He's not holding her up to a higher, by doing that, And so he should cherish her. And by cherishing her, he'll treat her properly, keep her proper respect and not do things that would harm her. Cherish. and then protect. He's there to make sure she's safe. Remember, over the last few thousand years, they would go around raping, pillaging, or capturing women for slavery. So you got to protect them. Maybe they're not in as much danger now, but protect them anyway. What the heck, There's criminals and bandits and robbers you got to protect from. So protect her from whatever dangers exist, and give her a safe car. Protect her from danger in lots of ways. Give her a safe house. So with those responsibilities, I think you've got the foundation of a good marriage, or the possibility of a good marriage. The wife's going to bring honor to the husband and make him look bigger and more successful than when she met him. So you have to honor him to do that. You can't talk bad about him, and expect that to raise his esteem in the neighborhood. Can't tell bad things about him to your girlfriends or fellow neighbor wives. You got to talk good about your husband, because then they're going to talk about him. So you'll bring down his reputation. That's not honoring. You got to honor him by boosting him, promoting him, just like you would a rock and roll artist like me. Say good things about me in my music. That's honoring me. Say bad things about me in my music, and you're dishonoring me. And obey. That word obey, that's a real kicker. And in fact, I've come to realize, like I said, I was sold a real false bill of goods as a kid. I was taught that women are more reliable and obedient, are faithful. And it's the men that always go off and cheat. Well, it turned out to be totally false. It turns out that like dogs are more loyal and cats are much less loyal. Dogs are more obedient and cats are less obedient. So the man has no problem with the obedience and protecting, and if he can cherish her, if she'll give him attributes to cherish. You can't cherish someone if they're downgrading you and talking bad behind your back and stealing from you. That's getting hard to cherish somebody who does that for you. But that relationship. I love this song, and that's the chorus. Honor and obey, cherish and protect. Now I sing it in two voices. Now I recorded it several times, and my friend Scott Carahadian engineered the session where I recorded it in my car, and I recorded it at his house, the vocals. And when I ended up using the version for the Kung Fu Cowboy album, I didn't use the one that I recorded with Scott. He recorded me, and then I did the girl vocal, and there were two different channels, and we did them, and they could bounce back and forth in the speakers. But the version on the Kung Fu Cowboy album is the original one I recorded in my car, and I only had 4 tracks, so I didn't want to take up 2 tracks with 2 vocals that I could put on 1 track, because they only sing together at the same time during the chorus, or a couple places. But I was willing to sacrifice that for having the track, I guess. But anyway, this is the original vocal that I used on the Kung Fu Cowboy album. It's not the same vocal on the American Zen album, so that's kind of different. And I love it. What it is it's me singing the girl and the guy vocal simultaneously in one take. So I sing the male vocal, then I sing the girl vocal. I sing the male vocal, I sing the girl vocal. I try to change my voice so you can maybe tell which one it is. And that's the vocal you got in the song, is me singing both voices. In other words, I could do it live. If I was performing live, I could sing both the male and the female vocals, all by myself. So that's honor and obey, cherish and protect. And I'd like people to use that for a wedding song. If they don't even sing it to themselves, they could at least play it, in their wedding, one of their songs for their wedding. So it's a wedding song. About making a great marriage. That's the root of the song. Doesn't matter how bad my marriages have all turned out, but the reason my marriages did not turn out good is because of dishonor caused me, lies, cheating, and stealing. Obedience, they weren't faithful. I couldn't get them to say, "Oh, I won't sleep with another man, won't have sex with another." What can you say? I don't know what you can say on YouTube. But anyway, they wouldn't obey. That was one of my rules. I had a rule: if you're going to be my girlfriend, then you don't sleep with anybody else. You're only going to have sex with me, and that's it. That's the basis of being my girlfriend. You're my girlfriend. You're not his girlfriend. You're my girlfriend. So the moment she becomes somebody else's girlfriend, she's not my girlfriend. But if she just obey me, she's still my girlfriend. And then cherish. It's my goal, my responsibility to cherish her. It's not me to kick her around, not slap her, not degrade her, not curse her, not yell at her. Cherish her. Treat her with respect. Treat her with dignity. Treat her with love, compassion. That to me is cherishing. So that's what a man should do. And then protect. And then you protect her. So you protect her, you love her, you make her happy and secure. And then she appreciates you and she talks good about you and she obeys the rules that she should have agreed to before she got married. It's not like you should ever spring any rules on her after that, but she should know that you expect her to not have sex with other men before you marry her. She should, oh, I didn't know that. It should not be in there. You got my point. Hey, 15 minutes exactly. Good time. That's enough. I think I got my point. Great song. Honor and obey, cherish and protect. The American Zen one is the rough one recorded in my car with the vocals that Scott recorded at his house. And then the Kung Fu Cowboy one is the original vocal recorded in the Tacoma studios, because I had 2 studios. The front cab is where I cut the vocals. And then in the back I would hide and play my bass and guitar, recording directly into the recorder, so I didn't have an amp back there. So they wouldn't really hear me. But I had to be in the dark. And I'd do it at night because it was illegal. And so I'd have a flashlight, so I could maybe see what I was doing a little bit. And that was it, because I didn't want the cops to see me when they drove by and the neighbors called the cops on me. So it was stressful being homeless, for half of there was only 2 years where it was legal and then 4 years where it was illegal. So 4 years of stress and a couple of years where it was actually fun. It was like going camping on a vacation for a couple of years. It probably never happened again. The one time that homelessness was legal in LA, I was there, and I could actually say it was enjoyable. But I don't want to go back and tell stories because most of it was miserable, most of the year. But there was actually a couple of years where it was actually fun to be homeless. So you have to tell that story sometime until they made it illegal again. All right, Kung Fu Cowboy here. Oh yeah, later.
Standing at the altar, I will never falter to love and respect, cherish you is easy. All I need is your smile to please me. Cherish and protect. You are my only lover. Together we'll discover your castle